are live. Good morning, South Florida. Hello, world. I am Robert Henderson Jr. I am the president and CEO and founder of the Henderson Financial Group. And I do have a friend, the one and only, the brother from another mother, Mr.
Uh,
James T. Thomas, joining me live. James T., how you doing, my brother?
Rob, I am, I am at an all-time high. You know,
Woo,
Rob,
woo.
I tell
All
people
time high.
all-time high. I mean, you hear me say all the time that today is the best day of my life until midnight, and at midnight, the next day becomes the best day of my life. Well, it's just really it's really great, man. Um, I give all praises to God and worship him because when we are able to step out in faith, realizing our relationship with a king, a real king, okay, the only king, yeah, yeah. When we realize that, Rob, what happens is in my study for the past few days, man, I thank God for Dr. Miles Monroe. After having had a meeting with him and spending a few hours with him, I began to study, and even after uh, his demise, when he lost his life, he still has messages that teaches us that if we will recognize that we are never independent, we must be dependent upon him. If we step out and become independent, then our wages and our jobs become our source. But if we become dependent upon him who's king, what he does is he does for us, Rob, what he did for the children. They were working for wages, onions and all kind, hey, shelter and all of that. Boom. And then all of a sudden he said, okay, I'm gonna open up the vaults and we're gonna give you all that's in the vault. And I want you to leave Egypt. Rob, 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 people don't do that.
No,
Rob, Rob,
no.
Rob, people don't do what Robert Henderson did. You know, they said, hey, my wages is my source. And that doesn't mean that you quit your job. You don't have to quit your job. But hey, know that your job is not your source.
Yes.
And if you
Yeah.
would make that connection and become dependent upon God, who's our king, all of a sudden, the whole world, has to come under that. And it's because of your relationship with him and who he is, and who he is and whose you should be. So, man, I love doing things, but greater than that, I love getting things done. And Rob, I've been getting things done. I've been getting things done.
Yeah, man, you really have, man. Let the church say amen. You really have been good. I'm proud of you, man. You moving, boy. You are busy, busy, busy. My sermon today is going to be
Come on with it, Mr. Henderson.
my sermon today is going to be on net worth and cash
Okay.
flow. Because a lot of people of color, and a lot of people in general, we don't focus on net worth. I mean, most of us focus on just income and how much can you make, and how much can you earn. But we missed that chapter on understanding what is net worth. What is net
Mm.
worth? You notice when they talk about wealth in America, in the world, they don't say how much money a person making. They say, what is that person net worth?
Ooh,
Isn't that something?
come on, Mr. Henderson.
Net worth. So today we're going to talk about net worth, and we're going to talk about cash flow, because we need to spend some time in that, because we don't talk enough about net worth and cash flow. I think those are some unexplored areas in our psyche, in our
Mm.
everyday world. You know what I mean? We talk about a lot of the stuff on social network and what's going on, and the what's on Netflix and the series and sports and things like that, and then politics. But we don't really focus on the thing that really, really matters. Our health and our financial health, and really how you really find out if your health is really good financial, you got to take a look at your net worth.
Mm. Rob, and that, and I know you're going to discuss it, but how you can quote unquote take that and build upon it once you know what it is.
Oh, that's the beginning. That's right. As soon as you start focusing on net worth, oh man, you got eyes now. You got eyes. Your eyes are open now. Hey, I see brother Anthony is in the background now. I
Oh
see you.
wow! Bring him in. Bring him in on this one, Doc.
Yeah,
Bring,
man. I'm
bring,
so proud of this brother, man. Let's bring brother Anthony in. Hold on. Let me bring him in. Let me see it. Let me see. I think he turned his mic off. Let me bring brother Anthony in. Brother Anthony, your mic is off. Brother Anthony, you on, brother? Your mic is
Hey,
off. How
good
you
morning. How
doing?
y'all doing?
we're doing great, man. We're doing
All right.
great. Good, man. We're glad to have you
Good.
on, Robert. If
Good.
I can, let me introduce this gentleman, and then since you have already had discussions with him, let me I'll let you take over. But as you said just moments ago, how proud you are of him, I want him to know how proud we all are. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a gentleman. His name is Anthony Barber, and I'll let him talk about himself in a minute. But I have just been just overwhelmed with how he has done, Rob, what you have been teaching, and that is realizing, that we all have a purpose and a gift. And if we will step out in that faith, that the windows of heaven will open up. This brother is about to tell us what he has done in a city that I love. Now, I love the city. And there's some people I have some problems with, but I do love the city. Yeah. So, Mr. Anthony, tell
Good
us,
morning.
good morning to you. Please tell us what has just happened and what's happening in Delray Beach that you have created.
All right. Mr. Henderson, pleasure to make your acquaintance in this manner as well. We've spoken on the phone, but never in this medium here. But I think I'll see you either today or tomorrow. Likewise. I am Anthony Barber, owner and operator of Grooves Delray, also Troy's Barbecue Points Beach. A couple other partners involved, but I'm the main face that you normally see. In Delray Beach, we have attempted, or not we have attempted, we have opened and are operating here at 404 at West Atlantic Avenue, in between 4th and 5th, closer to 4th than 5th, but a 4,000 square foot restaurant. And it's been very interesting these last Thursday, Friday, and now we got the third soft opening day being today, where we've seen a resetting of, I'd say, resetting the standard. That was what mattered to me most. I'm in my vehicle right now because it's a little breezy and I didn't bring a coat this morning. Um, but we've reset the standard as to what dining can be for everyone, essentially. We've tried to make a space, or we've created a space that is, essential to the idea that everyone can come, feel welcome, feel included, feel like they have a place to be. Thus far, we've seen all colors and creeds and shapes and sizes and sexualities and everything. And this has only been in 2 days. And on Thursday, when we had the first day of soft opening, I said to myself, if this is any indicator of what's to come, the Lord has surely decided to stand on his word this time again. It is pouring out a blessing. Open up a window, pouring out a blessing that you won't have room enough to receive. And we really didn't have any more seats. Our reservations for Sunday are up to 112 reservations for Sunday. We don't have any more room. If we don't have reservations, we're now thinking about trying to add 10 more tables on the patio to accommodate the influx of those that want to come. We got a smaller kitchen here, it's not even small. I've operated out of kitchen. We just got to keep the menu down, but nonetheless, we want to still be efficient. So we're happy to be on Atlantic Avenue. We have other ideas and plans for Atlantic Avenue, um, and we look forward to. We're just we're glad to be on Atlantic Avenue. We're glad to be in Delray Beach. When the project came about, space came about, I was wrestling between two ideas, and something tugged on me one last time before I went to another idea to reach back out, see what's what. And it worked out just as God had ordained it to work out in God's present perfect perfect timing that we're open and operating in a way that many thought wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, Anthony, man, I'm so proud of you. Know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Anthony and James T. He knows him. I had never met him before. As a matter of fact, this is the first time visually meeting Anthony. I might have been a little tough on him when I met him over the phone.
He reminds me.
Anthony, I might have been. I know. I talk large and bigger than I actually am size wise.
Okay. All right.
But I had the pleasure of negotiating with Anthony about that spot back. I think it was in January. As a matter of fact, I was at a financial conference in January in Arizona, I believe, and I was in my hotel, and we were negotiating terms and outlook. And I said I'm all for him, but I got to make sure that he knows what he's doing. So, and he assured me he knew what he was doing. He assured me that he wasn't here for a short term, for a long time, and he was committed. And I said, yeah, let's do it, and it came together. And Anthony, I tell you, I'm so proud of you, man. I see the write-ups in the Miami Herald on social media, man. I see them having your food. It looks like top, like a 6-star restaurant that you have created there in Delray Beach, man. A beautiful.
Thank
And
you,
I look
man.
at that menu, man. That menu said, oh my goodness gracious. Make you want to, I want to leave my office in Miami Lakes just to come down there for lunch.
have something to eat. I appreciate that, man. Thank you. One thing my parents have instilled in me, my dad being a retired police officer, retired educator, is, treat people fairly, treat people how you want to be treated. My grandfather being one of the first Black police sergeants in West Palm Beach. My family, I'm from a lineage of pioneers in a sense, people first of their sort in a sense. My grandmother, grandfather, first to go off to Florida A&M. One thing that I know, they've both gone on to be with the Lord, but we are all of their grandchildren are college graduates. All of their grandchildren, except for one, are members of D9 organizations, and we support each other in the community. My family comes from hard work, and the menu in itself is inspired by some ideas from my maternal grandmother, and my work ethic and my knowledge and my expertise and my willingness to navigate situations and be more of a chameleon comes from my paternal grandmother. So that those both sides of the pendulum pouring into me all the time help shape who I became as a young man, and then now as I guess a middle-aged man. I think that might be it because I'm
He's
approaching
still a
40. I
young
don't
man.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
still a
Rob,
young man, but
he's still a young man compared to us, bro. Trust me.
Yeah, he's still.
yeah,
Hey, listen, he's still in the second quarter.
yeah.
Well,
Oh, second. Okay, all right, there it is. I'm good with that.
well, one of the things that I do want to say before we let him, because the business is open and you're taking your time out. The reason I wanted to bring you on, Anthony, is because we want to be inspiring and encouraging to everybody.
Right.
Age has nothing to do with it. It has to do with your purpose and your giftedness. And when we started a discussion about this, we have to realize that we don't wait for other people to do for us what we can do for ourselves. Both of
So,
us, Robert, we went and spoke before the city commission because, city commissioners who don't live in our community, they don't know our culture. And people who they hire to be over these different departments, sometimes they get stuck on citations and enforcement rather than service. Service should start with all of us, and particularly with them when they say that they are elected or selected or hired to serve a community and a people. So we had to bring to their attention that when you look into our community, Rob, particularly here in Delray Beach, to go to wine, to dine, to socialize, the only place we had in our community was the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I told them, I said, I know you guys think that when you bring something into the Black community, that you think that you're part of the culture. But I took the comment made by Denzel Washington that said, if you don't know what a hot comb through black hair smell like on a Sunday morning, you really don't know our culture. So you
That's
can
right.
come into our community and say, because they're cultures we don't know, but we don't try to force on them to make them think we're serving you because we brought you something. No,
That's
all you have to do is give us the opportunity to build in our own community and support that and serve us as you are elected or selected to do. So we're calling on Delray Beach to say they're going to do everything. And we don't want you to break no laws or no rules. But if the rules are not good for our culture, it's not good for the city.
yes.
you
But,
know?
but before he goes, because I know we run out of time, so before he goes, James, I want him to just give a preview of what's to come because I looked at his menu and that blew me away. Now I'm a pescatarian, but I see
Okay.
he has something for everybody.
Uh,
So I want to give out a commercial, so the preview, so people, just to get the appetites up. Tell us some of the different type of menus, that's on the menu that and mouth watering. Because when I was looking at me and Antonio was looking at that thing, man, we're like, oh my goodness, I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to try this.
right.
So
So
tell me a few of the dishes that you all came up with.
so there's a menu. There's a menu, and what we ended up doing was let me see the best way to state it. The menu is diverse. That's the first
Yes.
thing.
Yes, it
And I
is.
knew that after having visited this great city and eating along this corridor, it was not going to be hard to have better food. Um,
Okay.
it's just- it just wasn't going to be hard because many of the people that own these restaurants have never picked up a pan or don't cook at their own homes or don't have any not formal training, but informal training about flavor pairings and like restaurants. I'm a person that really likes to go out to eat. I've been eating out of restaurants since I was an undergrad in Tallahassee at FAM. So the menu is inspired by all these places I've been, and I saw these things at different places, and I put all those ideas about the best things that I saw at different places, and I brought them into one single menu. There's a brown stew whole snapper fried on that menu. I think it's over
Yeah.
rice and peas, right?
Yeah, man.
Well, I had that in the Bahamas in like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
Best piece of fish I ever had. And I said, if I ever had a restaurant that wasn't barbecue, I'd get me a whole snapper and I'd fry it up and I'd turn it sideways. And so that's on the menu. Then there's things like the fried chicken with the collard greens, candy yams, and mac and cheese, right? Now
Yes.
that's a staple. That's an easy meal. That's
That's right.
Sunday dinner, you know?
Right. Right.
But there's a restaurant in Atlanta that I really like called Toast on Lennox, and they have a variation of that. So every time I would go to Atlanta to visit my brother and my nephews, we go to Toast on Lennox. Hey man, you give me the fried chicken. And you don't want the first toast? I came for the fried chicken, man. Thank you so much. And so things like that, and we have some pastas that are robust. I mean, we've sold a million pastas, it seems, at this point. And James had James, I felt embarrassed to be honest with you. I'm gonna come back to the menu, but James said to me, you got to make sure you have everything you're supposed to have. So when we opened Thursday, right, we had 46 reservations confirmed. And I was like, all right, cool. We got enough food to do at least 20 items of each menu thing. 20, we can do 20 of each thing. Okay. When we opened, that 46 turned into almost 200
Wow.
in a matter
Wow.
of moments.
Wow.
And you don't want to give people a nasty taste in their mouth. It's your intent. You want to make sure people can come and enjoy. So he's like, hey man,
That first
I'm gonna have
impression.
to run. I'm gonna have to run and get some more food. And
Yeah.
this was never supposed to be the plan. I mean,
Hey, Robin, this was a soft opening now.
and
This
this was a
wasn't
soft
advertised.
opening.
It wasn't advertised or promoted just on the app. Just on
Yeah.
the app. And which when he closes, I want him to invite people to come. But go ahead.
Yeah, so
Continue.
so this so this happened, and I'm like, wow, this is an amazing blessing. So last night it happens again. But this time I was prepared. I had all the stuff last night. We didn't nothing ran out last night. We had 50 portions of each thing. We were good to go. So it takes time to kind of that's why you have soft openings, because it takes time to figure out what your par levels are going to be and where you can store things and what you need and what you don't. So this has been a definite learning experience because my previous experiences have been that, we had way more storage space to allow for an endless menu. This takes more concentration, more focus, and more direct intent about being super intentional that you can provide exactly what you said you could give to the people that were coming. The best dish that we've sold the majority of, we've sold more of these than anything else, I think. The crab rice or the blackened grouper or the blackened catfish over the crab rice.
Yeah, I seen that.
That I think that is the top favorite item of anything. Like
Well,
there's a
that
lady
jumped out
here
at
right
me.
now. She's super dressed up, super clean. You should see this lady. It's 9:30 in the morning. I mean,
All right, we're
I
gonna let
mean,
you go, man. We're
yeah,
gonna
but
let
no,
you get out of
they
here.
got it in there. But what I was gonna say though is that I'm so blessed. I'm super blessed to be here. I couldn't have asked for a better opportunity for my family, for my legacy, my children, myself, and the history of Delray Beach. One thing I was most inspired, well, not one thing, but another thing I was most inspired about was that when some of the prominent individuals of Delray came by, like the Miss Odom, and she came by one day, and she came by herself, and then the very next day, she brought five more people back with her. And that told me what I needed to know about what I was doing here. She was willing not only to come back herself, but she brought five more people back with her.
Oh, that's how it's
And
gonna be.
and that's how and I hope that's how it continues to be, man. I've had to kind of correct a few individuals, let them know, like, hey man, we're not a nightclub. Oh, why y'all need to turn the music up? No, man. I'm a restaurant. We have
Right.
ambient noise. We have background. Yeah, I have a DJ here, but he's DJing to that you can still talk to your date. This is
Right.
not, you know, you
Okay.
know,
Hey, well, listen, man. Anthony, listen, man. You're doing a great job. And first of all, let's give out that address again. And what are your hours for opening and days?
fantastic. So, address is 404 West Atlantic Avenue in the beautiful city of Delray Beach, Florida, 33444. Hours are open every day, 9 a.m. And Monday through Wednesday, we close at 3 p.m. There's no dinner service Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have dinner service, closing somewhere between 10 and midnight.
What
So
about reservations? Do you need reservations?
reservations are going to be
Encourage.
highly encouraged, recommended, suggested because
Yeah.
the Sunday's full.
Okay. And
So
what time you
so
close
so
on? So are you having brunch or just straight out
we
good
so
food?
Sunday is brunch and dinner service. So Sunday we have a great show, great things planned for Sunday. So Sunday we're gonna open up the day with DJ Tight doing his gospel set.
Okay.
After DJ Tight gets off with his gospel set, we're gonna have Levi Knowles and his experience with a live gospel set. After they conclude, we go into Sunday night live karaoke, where we have a live band that can play. Anybody that wants to do karaoke can get up and sing any song that you think you can sing. And more times than not, the band that's going to be playing can pick that song up.
What time you
So,
close Sunday? What's the last time to get in?
9 p.m. Sunday, 9 p.m. on
Whoa.
Sunday. Yeah,
Whoa. I like that. Okay. So
yeah.
so reservation. How do you make reservations? What's the telephone number? You got it
So,
on your hand or what?
it's two. There's multiple ways to make reservations. The best way is to go to our website and go to that reservation link, groovesdelray.com,
Oh,
www.
you say grooves, like grooving, groove?
Grooves Del Rey. I can't flip my camera on. Think. Let's see here. No, they don't let you flip the camera. But Grooves Del Rey, groovesdelray.com is the website, www.groovesdelray.com, and there's a reservation link there that you can go and make your reservation and find an available table. I know that I'm gonna have a lot of upset people Sunday, or disappointed rather, that they're gonna have to wait because they didn't make a reservation,
Right.
but there's a lot of people that made reservations that are going to be immensely happy. So,
Right.
they're going to be able to get smothered pork chops and fried catfish, and we got some
Shrimp and
amazing French
grits and all that
toast,
stuff.
shrimp and
Yeah.
grits, and
Yeah.
lobster and waffles, and
Oh
we
man.
got a good we got it going on down here,
I
man.
seen your menu, bro. I seen it. I seen that menu. I said, whoa. You touched on everything, man.
And I'm not
Hey,
trying to kill your pocket either.
Yeah, you got good prices too. Good prices. All right,
Yeah,
bro.
good prices.
Hey,
Thank y'all
man.
so much. Much love. Appreciate y'all for having me on, Mr. Henderson. I look to be in contact very, very soon.
I know you will. I know
now
you
that
will.
now that was a great plug.
All
I
right.
look to be in contact very, very soon.
All right. Talk to you later,
All
bro.
right.
Be
Thank y'all,
blessed.
man.
Much
Peace.
love. Oh man. Hey, I must say, and that grooves is Groove.
Yeah. I was
Grooves.
tough on that brother, boy. I had to. I had to make sure he had the fight in him, that he was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I said, you gotta cannot come half stepping. You're gonna get that place. You have to do the right thing and you have to be prepared. So I like what he's doing, man. And we needed it, and I think he's gonna, matter of fact, I'm pretty sure he's gonna do well. You know what I mean?
He's had some great experiences as well. They had Tom's Rib in Boca was, oh man, people came from all over the country and the world
Yeah, I
to
remember that.
Tom's Rib. Well, and he operated that after Tom had left for a while, and then again, like he said, he's been in the business, and that's so important, Rob, because as you were talking about knowing your net worth and knowing where you are and how you can quote unquote masterfully use that to build legacy, to build wealth, and not to get a number. See, I think that's another mistake that we make, because we've been having thrown around all of our lives about being a millionaire. Well, okay, what is that? Yeah. So go ahead, Mr. Henderson, help us out about net worth and how it's going to make us better.
Because James, I came across this. I was thinking because, I'm a financial planner, and I every month we get this magazine, and it also comes on internet also, that people that are in the industry, there's industry magazines, and a lot of us read, whether it's the Wall Street Journal or Investors Daily, or there's different subscriptions that we prescribe to, and it keeps us financial advisors, planners. It keeps us, on par of what's going on, with the government, with interest rates. And it's like a cheat sheet, and let you know. So let us know what's happening with annuities, what's happening in the life insurance world, how people feel about certain stuff, and just the pulse, keep the pulse on the people, so we'll know exactly what people are feeling. And this month's article, the front part of the magazine, it said high net worth. They call it HNW. They said now, since they have a new administration and there is President Trump is in the office, they said all focus should be on HNW. That's so the whole magazine that was on the cover. It says all focus should be on HNW. And I said HNW. Then right under it says high net worth people. So it says all focus. So I'm like, well, if now they want the people in the industry, financial services, to focus on only high net worth people, then where does that leave the masses? Because I mean, when you say high net worth people, 95% of people are not high net worth. Only 5% of the people in the country are considered high net worth. So then I thought about it. I said, the people where I grew up, my neighborhood where I grew up, we never was talking about net worth. We were just talking about, hey, man, making it, surviving, paying our rent, paying our mortgage or whatever, and, just going through life. We never really focused on net worth. But I do know that every time they do these reports, and they come out and they said, well, black people net worth is $5,000, and the Hispanic people net worth is 15, and white people net worth is 110,000, and they say that, and I noticed that when they talk about wealth in America, who's the richest person, they never talk about how much money they make. They never talk about how much income they bring in. They never talk about, oh, this person. No. You are measured by your net worth. But then again, I know a lot of people don't even look at that's like getting in the car and never even looking at your gas tank. That's like getting in your car and never looking at your gas, and you don't know how much gas you have. In other words, you don't even know what your net worth is. And I have surmised that most people look at people of color net worth as being very, very, very little. Matter of fact, all the report says that the people who has the lowest net worth are people of color. That's amazing to me. And the thing about it is, most people of color not even think about a net worth. Most people of color thinking about how much can I make, how much can I earn, let me pay my bills, let me have some cash flow to enjoy life, and that's it. Never really zooming in on let's focus on net worth. So today I want to talk about how do you even calculate this word, and why should we even care? And why does it really mean net worth? And why do people look at you cockeyed when you want to go to the bank and start a business? They want to know your net worth. And you're like, what you talking about? Man, I got some money saved and so and so. No. What is your net worth? Because your net worth is like, that's like your badge of honor. That's like saying I'm somebody. And I know I want you all who are listening to me and seeing me, I want you to look inside of yourself and do some introspection and figure out your net worth. Your net worth is all of your assets, your cash that you have. If you have real estate, if you have a savings and investments, your retirement account, your cash value in your life insurance. And a lot of y'all got term. That don't count. Because you can't get no money from no term and policy. Okay? Checking account. If you can direct deposit and a certain amount of money going in there every month and a certain amount of money going out, and you got to wait till the next month, that's not your net worth. That's just cash flow. Net worth is if you had to line up all of your debts, your mortgage, your credit cards, everything you owe somebody, the amount. You come up with that figure. How much do I owe? Let's say an angel was coming and said, listen, you're getting ready to leave here and go to another galaxy. So get ready to pack your stuff up, and we want to pay off everybody who you owe. That's your debt. That's from all the Macy's cards and all those Dillard's cards and American Express and visas, all that. You want to add up how much you owe on that house, how much you owe on that car. I want you to just add up everything. That is your debt right now. If we want to take a snapshot, that's your debt. And let's say your debt comes to $400,000, $500,000. That's your debt. Oh, some of y'all say my debt comes to $200,000. At least you know your debt. Now, from there, I want you to look at, after you pay off your debt, how much do you have left over? If it ain't nothing, if everything is negative, then you have a negative net worth. And people will treat you like a negative net worth. They treat you like you ain't nothing. You start feeling good when you say, I have more than what I owe. So now you want to look at, once you line up all your debt, how much you're going to have to leave here. If an angel came and said, we want to pay off everything, come up with that amount. Then you want to say, well, how much you're going to have left over? How much do you have in savings? How much do you have in investments? How much equity do you have in the house? And that's how you determine your net worth. And they're saying that most people of color, our net worth ain't $50,000, ain't $25,000. And if it's not, man, you need to get ready and get that up. Shame on you. You've been around for a long time and you have not even focused on your net worth. Now, you may say, why does that matter? It matters a lot because when you judge by your net worth, opportunity is abound. You get more opportunity to higher your net worth. And I want everybody, after this show is over, I want you to do a self-examination. You ain't got to tell nobody. Just go in the closet if you have to. Go in the bathroom and secretly say, okay, let me at least know what's your gas meter. At least know that if you're on empty or you're on fumes or you got a full tank. At least just information is key, man. When you have information, you feel better. You just say, okay, at least I know where I'm at. At least I'm not trapped. At least I'm not somewhere in orbit. You want to at least know where are you. And then once you know where you are, then you can take steps to improve yourself. But you can't unless you at least do a self-examination. What is your personal net worth? What do you say, James?
I'd say, like Rob, I don't know if anyone has really, I'll put it on me. until we started working together. And I tell this story all the time. When you told me that there was, quote unquote, money in the walls, and I said, show me the wall, I'm gonna tear it down. And you showed me the wall, but it wasn't a physical destroying of a wall as
Right.
much as it was, I didn't have a mortgage, da 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 da, boom, boom, boom. Okay. And then all of a sudden, now when people realize, and I think they'll be surprised. Some people will be very surprised that they do have a net worth that's not working for them. And that's what the Henderson Financial Group is here to do, to say, once you get that MRI, they can share with you, what you now have possession of. Because going back to what I spoke about earlier this morning, the study was the children of Egypt, all they had was a job, and they were being fed poorly, housed poorly. But all of a sudden, when they realized who the king really was, when they left, they said that the mules were weighted down, in wealth that they were carrying from where they are. So I think one of the things that most people won't do is seek people to tell them what we don't know. Because I don't care how much we know, we don't know all there is to know. So when you can meet with people who know more than you know about, hey, finances, I can't believe that I don't want to live. I'm a vet, so we can go to the Veterans Hospital. Now I have doctors that I'm really just excited about and tell people about. But if you don't have a financial planner after God on the type on your list, somewhere in your top 3, Rob, maybe your top 2, because God first, and then everything comes after that. But a financial planner or guidance is like having a doctor, having whether you want to call them a dentist, if you don't say a dentist is a doctor, you've got to have people who's going to help you with your health. Well, you should also have people who will help you with your wealth.
Yeah, man, because you're gonna need that wealth to navigate through this cruel world.
Right. Because and the sad part about it is, if you don't have wealth, then you're a poor representation when you say you're a citizen of the kingdom.
Yep.
I love the Lord, and the Lord will do this and do that. Really?
Yep. The
But
Lord said, the Lord said, what have you done with what I've given you?
But what I've given, wait, no, what is it that you have not even asked me for that I have stored up for you? I sent Moses to say, hey, let them people go.
You know why I say that we need to, and I want everyone who's listening and who's watching, I want you to just do something different. I want you to do something you probably never done. I want you to analyze and see what your net worth is. What your net worth is. And why is it so important? Because, leverage and using other people's money, you have to have something in order to get something. That's what leverage is. You have to first have something. What have thy done for thyself? How has thy loved thyself? If you walk into a bank and you say, listen, I want to go into business, so I have something that I need. I need to get a loan. And the bank look at you and say, okay, you're 40 years old. And how much do you earn? And you say, well, I earn $80,000 a year. And then they want you to fill out a financial statement. Now, why would they want you to fill out a financial statement? Because filling out a financial statement is like, like walking into a doctor's office and you say you just have pain in your body. They need to take x-rays, an MRI. So when you walk into a bank and you say, listen, I need y'all money. I got an invention. I need to build some. I want to buy some real estate. I want to buy, a 10-unit apartment. I got great ideas. Why do you think they ask you to fill out paperwork? Because they're trying to do it. They want to do an MRI. They want to take x-rays on what have you done with your life? What have you done with the money that have come through your fingers, your hands? What have you done with them? If you've been making $80,000 a year for the last 10 years, that's $800,000 that have run through your hand. How much do you have left? If you say I got $5,000, they're going to say, you think if you don't, you think we some kind of fool? You think we gonna give you our money and you don't let $800,000 go through your hands and you ain't got nothing but $5,000? You got to be get out of here. They let you do the paperwork and you don't get the loans. And I'm gonna tell you something. If it was flipped and you got that information, you would tell them to kick them out. You're not giving nobody no money who don't even give themselves money. How you gonna get my money? I'm a bank, and you don't even say your own money that comes to your hand. You've been working 30 years. How much money you got? That's all you got. What have you been doing with your money? Oh, I've been going on a cruise. Oh, I've been buying several cars. Oh, I've been eating out every weekend. Oh, I've been buying clothes. Oh, I've been buying Gucci bags. Oh, I just been partying. You've been, that means something right here ain't wrapped too tight. You think you're going to get a loan from us? We only lend money to people who love themselves and who know how to manage and create a net worth. Does that sound familiar? They might not say it in those terms, but
Rob,
they might not say it in terms, but they say no.
That key word, Rob, management. We don't realize that we are managers. Rob, I mean, believe me. I'm employed. I work for, I work for the so and so and so. Hey, is that your source? And if that's your source, hey, you are playing yourself cheap. If a job, and forgive me if I offend anybody, but I'm just, if your job is your only source of income, you are really, really, really upsetting God.
Yeah.
If you believe in it.
Yeah.
If you believe in
it. Hey, James, here's a guy that called me, never met him. He called my office this week. And he said, Mr. Henderson, are you a financial planner and advisor? He says, I see a duplex that I want to buy near the beach. And he says, it needs a roof. And he says, not too far from the beach. He says, they're asking $625,000 for it. So I said, okay, you want to buy it? He says, yes. I said, we got to pre-qualify you first. Got to make sure that you can afford to buy this thing. I said, let me do the analysis. And then I'm going to, have Tavares pre-qualify you, make sure that the bank, that you're good. They're going to give you money. I said, by the way, how much money have you saved? How much you have put away? He said, $25,000. I say, $25,000? And you want to buy a $625,000 building, right? He says, yes. I say, well, what you had in mind? He says, well, I heard that you can get 10% grant loan. I say, okay, 10%. I say, but if that's all you got, it's $25,000, you want to get, first time home buyer grant, a loan or whatever. That's for first time home buyer. A duplex doesn't qualify you as your private, as a personal residence that you're going to move into it. No, I ain't gonna move into it. I want for investments. I said, well, let's qualify you. You got $25,000 to your name, right? I said, and I went over his net worth, and then I asked him in terms of his credit. His credit wasn't that good. He said he got to get that up. But then I asked him, James, I said, as me looking at this duplex, it's only bringing in $3,500 a month. If you get this duplex, the mortgage at $600,000, the mortgage is going to cost you with taxes and insurance, going to cost you $500,000 a month. So if the tenant's only paying $3,500, but it's going to cost you to own that property $5,000 a month just to pay the mortgage, you already upside down. He said, oh my God, I didn't know that. Now this guy is not 21 years old. He just didn't know. He didn't know the principles of investing. He didn't know a lot of the basic stuff, but that's why he was calling me, and I told him what he had to do in order to qualify and how much money he had to put down. That $10,000 grant, he wasn't gonna be able to get that because it wasn't a first-time home buyer. And for him to even put 10% down of his own money, he needed $60,000, and he only had $25,000. So I told him we'll pre-qualify him, but we got to scratch that. That ship is already sailed.
Rob, you should have asked him, was he a vet?
Well, see, James, even being a vet, the advantage of being a vet means that he can get in there with no money down. But still, when he get in there with no money down,
he can't afford to stay there, huh?
the monthly payment with no money down is over $5,000. You see what I'm saying? See, being a vet just gets you in the door, but you got to be able to stay in there. You got to be still afford. Ain't no listen. Let me tell you something. People.
Okay, Miss Anderson, you preach it.
We have got to focus on first net worth. You got to stop spending all your money. If you're making $50,000 a year, you got to find a way to live off 40. If you're making $80,000, the key is you got at least be able to keep making 80. You got to at least live off 70. But that other 10, you gotta have some money for yourself. You cannot spend all that you have in order to increase your net worth, because time value of money, if you're not growing and you're not saving and you're not investing, you're getting further and further in debt. You're getting further and further behind. In the world that we live in, especially America, it's a capitalist society. It means that supply and demand. It only caters to people who net worths are growing. Last night, I was at my in-laws' house, and Natalie's sister said she don't understand why they don't pay teachers like they pay athletes. And I had to explain to her that even though teachers are very, very dear to us and really help us a lot in terms of education, but I said in America is built on capitalism. It's supply and demand. They don't even want to hear anything about, the spirit of the law and being nice. It's all dollars and cents, and it's all supply and demand. The reason why they don't pay teachers a lot of money is because it's the same reason why they don't pay a floor sweeper a lot of money. Because a floor sweeper, almost anybody could learn how to sweep the floor. Now, like I told them, unless you're a floor sweeper that stands out amongst the other floor sweepers, the only way you're going to make more money than the other floor sweepers is when you sweep a certain kind of way. When you sweep, you never have to sweep again. The floor ain't going to get dirty again. If you was that kind of sweeper, they will pay you more than the rest of the floor sweepers. But floor sweeping is not a hard thing. A floor sweeper cannot earn or receive the same amount of money that a heart surgeon receives. A heart surgeon, that's rare. That's a specialized service. Everybody can't be a heart surgeon. Everybody don't have the dedication and time or the know-how to be a heart surgeon. So they pay heart surgeons more because that's life or death. And they pay a lot of money for a heart surgeon. They pay her more than somebody who sweeps the floor. Go back to the teacher. A teacher, you can go to school for botany or whatever you want to do. You don't have to go to school to be a teacher. But they need teachers, and you can get hired as being a teacher, first grade teacher or substitute teacher, and they come and go. And on top of that, the kids that's in your class this year, those kids gonna be gone, and you ain't gonna see them no more because they're going to a higher grade. You're gonna get another set of kids. It's not like you're such in demand as a teacher that you are affecting economically a lot of people. No, you're not. They don't look at it like that. They look at supply and demand. You can calculate it. So if you're a football player or basketball player that can shoot the ball better than anybody else and people want to come and buy tickets to see you, you're going to get more money because there's supply and demand. If you could sing and people love the way you sing like a Taylor Swift or Beyonce, people are going to pay you not $10 to come see you sing, which I don't understand. They're going to pay $700 and $1,500 to hear you sing. In my opinion, you can go on YouTube and hear him sing for free, but that's another story. So supply and demand. So when you look at the world that we live in, it's based on supply and demand. What are you doing that makes you so special? I mean, think about it. It's just chicken. But they got rich selling chicken because Kentucky Fried Chicken did it a certain way. The spices. And y'all know Chick-fil-A sold enough doing it a certain way. but it's still chicken, you know. And then you also know Popeyes is just chicken, but they doing it a certain way. So if you ain't doing something a certain way, how you gonna get more money than the floor sweeper if y'all all sweeping the same? So when it comes to supply and demand in America, in terms of wealth building, you have to do something a different way, which is going to have people bringing you more money. That's capitalism in America. Now, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying that it's an economic formula that they use in order to pay you.
But Rob, do you think that people only realize they have erred in their thinking once they get crushed? You know,
that's a good time. That's a good time to realize.
Rob, I'm saying no. The better time is don't wait until. Oh, what am I? There was a favorite saying my grandmother used to have. When you hear somebody say "uh oh," she say, "That's too late.
It's too late. It's gone.
You should have stopped that. Whatever they broke, whatever they dropped, whatever went wrong, it's gone. It happened already." So taking a lesson, for instance, studying, I love anybody who knows me know I love teachers. I honor them, and I honor them because they took time out to help me to learn.
Jesus take care of the teachers.
But one of the things that teachers used to teach was they would teach you how to think, how to learn.
That's gone.
Not just memorizing the preamble or walking around the Constitution and the history that is not true history. It is, quote unquote, the way America wants history to be taught and told, but they don't. But we remember our teachers took us deeper than just that book, because when we got the book, some of the pages were torn out. Somebody else's name was in it usually. But I don't even know, do they do books anymore? Because they're taking books out of classes. But what I'm hoping people will do is say, wait a minute, I don't care how well, Rob, I don't care how well we're doing. We're not stuck at where we are. And we're willing to take time and take risk, to do better.
That's right.
And to gain more. And it's not about more money as it is about more wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because you can have all the money and can't clean yourself, as people, anyway,
not be happy,
and not find that peace,
sound
health, that peace of mind, freedom from fear and worry, positive mental attitude, labor of love of your own choosing. Come on, these are things that are gifted to us, but that we never open the package because we never look for the greater that's in. So here's hoping that what you're saying today will not just open my eyes more. As we talked with Mr. Barber earlier this morning, we're not just going to throw him out there. We're going to support him. We're going to help him. But I'm going to tell you, he's a seeker and he listens. Now, the decisions that he'll make will be his decision to make, and the decisions that others will make. And when Purnell says, trust in your unlimited potential, people don't even think that they have unlimited potential. And so when you see that, or you hear someone say that, what am I not doing? I think you used to give definitions of word, when I remember one of them was introspection, right?
Yeah.
Right. I remember when you and Linda used to do that and saying, but do people get it? Because I want to believe that there's some greater in us than what we are demonstrating or what we're showing. And that's what I'm seeking. I tell people all the time, I'm looking for that I can't even ask, think, or imagine. And Mr. Barber said that in his, when we spoke with him earlier this morning, going beyond, there are things that we can't see.
Yeah, a whole lot of things that we can't see or understand. Before we go, man, I want to touch on cash flow. We talked about net worth because I want all y'all to do your own self-examination Just imagine that an angel come and said, you leaving here next week. Pack up all your stuff, and we want to pay off everybody you owe. The mortgage, the car note, and all that. And that's your debt. That's how much you owe. And then after you come up with that amount, then I want you to also see how much you have left over after you pay off everybody else. What is your assets? What is your investments? How much do you have in savings? Because you need that to pay off your debt. And if you don't have nothing left, then that means you have negative net worth. They say you're not worth anything. Okay. So cash flow is also one of the things that we need to focus on. Cash flow is this. If your monthly overhead expenses come to $5,000, but after you pay for that $5,000 fixed overhead expenses, you have $8,000 coming through your hands, flowing. That's cash flow. That's cash flow. In other words, you have $8,000 that comes in your direct deposit, that comes into your bank account. Every month you have to spend $5,000. So that means you have $3,000 left over. That's a positive cash flow. Now that's totally different from net worth, but you at least got to have a positive cash flow. Cash flow is very important during retirement, or if you're getting ready to retire, or if you're trying to retire. It helps you determine, can you retire? Can you stop doing the 9-to-5 job? Have you put away enough assets to turn them into dividends and cash flow? So when you say you want to retire, you know that your fixed overhead income, your fixed overhead liabilities is a certain amount. You got to know what's your number that you need to take care of. I'm talking about whether it's property taxes, whether it's homeowners insurance, whether it's car notes, whether it's car insurance, whether it's food, whether it's utilities, wherever it is. You got to come up with that number. And if you don't know how to do that, that's why you come to the Henderson Financial Group, and we'll help you figure out your cash flow situation. Now, if your overhead expense is $5,000 a month, and you getting $6,000 a month, but you're going to taking a cruise, and you getting a credit card, and you going out to dinner, and at the end of the month, you done spent all that $1,000 cash flow positive that you have, then you're not increasing your net worth. You're on a treadmill. And then when you stop working, now you're not bringing in enough for that $5,000 fixed income. Now with Social Security and the retirement, you're only bringing in $3,000 a month. So now we know we have to do something before you retire to bring you back to $2,000 so we can at least take care of your fixed overhead expense. That's how you determine whether you're going to retire or not. You don't determine whether you're going to retire or not because of your age. Age, you know, if you're 65 years old, but you don't have enough money, you can't just go to the grocery store and say, I'm 65 years old. I don't work no more. I don't have no money, but I'm 65 years old. Still give me some grocery. They're going to say, where the money? You only retire when you have done the numbers to make sure that you can retire. Retiring saying you don't need no more money. In other words, you're not gainfully employed.
You just hurt somebody's feeling. You just hurt somebody's feeling.
Well, I just told the truth. Sometimes the truth hurts. When you say you retiring, that means that you don't need no more of their money. If you ain't gonna get their money, you better have some of your own money. You like a squirrel that have eaten your nuts, but you save some nuts for later on. When the squirrel don't eat all their nuts and they eat some now to survive and they put some away, that some away is so when they don't want to go out there and hunt for nuts, all that they piled up, when they get a certain amount, then they retire and they say, I got this right here, what I piled up, enough for me to live my lifestyle for the rest of my life. If you haven't done that, man, you're wrong.
But Rob, that's an important thing. Another reason to take an assessment of where you are before you start even talking about retirement. But we've been talking weeks and months and years about planning for retirement. You don't just, like you said, you don't just turn a certain age and retire. You because a lot of people will say, well, I'm going to get this from social, and I don't know, and I'm going to get this from my job or whatever, if you've been there for so many years. But I'm hearing things being said that none of that may be secure.
That's true.
It
That's
doesn't
true.
have. It doesn't. I mean, you can say, well, hey, my mama, my daddy, my uncle. Hey, that's living in the past. Hey, and if you live it in the past, you're totally blocking out your future because none of us know what the future holds for all of us.
That's true.
But and we should be preparing for quote unquote surprise. Surprise. Basic needs being met. It is paramount. Because anything else, because always there's going to be something that's going to come up that none of us planned for or expected, but you could be prepared for it if you know your net worth and if you planned ahead of time. And it's not a one-time thing either. A lot of times, hey, you don't just go to the doctor one time. As a matter of fact, they usually tell you, come back, let me make sure that what we did, is working for you.
Exactly. Follow up.
Yeah. But and these things sound like they're simple, but they're simply not done.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't do follow up. A lot of people wait and they go to the doctor and they stage 4. And it's not a whole lot they could do,
And
So a lot of people
guess
financially at stage 4 right now.
right. And they say, just go home and wait your time. Yeah. There's nothing we can do for you.
Right.
We certainly hope that people have been listening this morning and that they will contact the Innocent Financial Group and that
305
305
825
825
1444.
1444.
It's time to do a financial checkup.
Woo. And then don't say, I'm done. Because Robert's gonna believe me, he's gonna give you some things that you should think about, consider, and then he's gonna give you some things that you should do. Like the gentleman that we had on earlier, he told me, he said, "Oh, that man, Mr. Henderson, have you met him?" Robert, I told him, yes, I have.
He actually had you.
After when y'all had the conversation, whatever it was, he said, "Oh man, that guy, Mr. Henderson."
Yeah, that was tough, huh?
Yeah, well, I said he was only trying to help you.
That's right. I don't ever want him to bite off more than he can chew.
Yeah.
I don't ever want him to bite off more than he could chew.
Those were words that he said that you told him to. Because a mouthful can choke you.
Yes, it can.
A mouthful can choke.
It could choke you. Some people went out of business by being choked. They did. Choked to death.
Hey, Rob. So, and hey, folks, we want you to share. Please share this. If you don't need it and you're good, we applaud you.
Yeah, what is your net worth? What is your net worth? Don't be ashamed now. You don't have to show it to nobody.
Yes, sir.
Go in the closet, go in the bathroom, write your numbers down. I remember an angel coming to get you next week, and we want to know exactly how much you owe. And after you pay that off, do you have anything left over? And if you can't, most of y'all can't pay it off because you just say, oh, more than what you can pay. That means you got a negative net worth. And I want you to start savings and let's get that right. Matter of fact, you can call the Henderson Financial Group 305-825-1444. And if you owe more than what your net worth is, if you owe more than what you have, you call me. I'm going to show you how to cut that in half. I'm going to show you how to cut that in half. I want to see how many of y'all going to call me. Y'all going to be ashamed of y'all going to do nothing. The good Lord is watching you. And you can't say, God, come help me, because God said I sent the black dude with them glasses on to tell you. Now I don't know what else to do. I mean, you gotta act.
The one thing too, that they have to realize is they're gonna have to get with you or someone who can really assess that property that you own. And what is the market value today compared to when you purchased it? And what have you done? So we all need to ask, seek, and knock.
We need prayer too now. Right now we need prayer, brother.
Oh, okay. Well, hey, Father God, we thank you for the opportunity that you've given us. Lord Jesus, Holy Spirit, within us is the greatness that we were given at birth. We have not accessed all that you have for us. So we're going to ask that you bring to our hearts and our minds and our spirit that you would have us do, to step out, recognizing that you are sovereign and that your namesake depends on what we do with all that we've been given to use, so that you, oh God, would be glorified. So touch us in a special way with what has been spoken today by Robert, Mr. Barber, who came on and said how you have blessed him. Let us have that encouragement, oh God, to step out in faith, trusting and depending on you, knowing that we cannot be independent, that we must be dependent, so that you can bless us beyond what we can ask, think, or imagine. And we promise, if you do that for us, that we'll give you all the praise and all the glory. In Jesus' name we pray.
Let the
Amen.
church say amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Amen. It's been a great day, Rob.
Yeah, a wonderful day, a day of enlightenment, a day of encouragement. You,
What's your
me, us.
number? What's your number? What's your
That's
number?
right.
Hey,
What's
ask
your number?
yourself, what's my net worth? And
Yeah.
if you want to Google it, if you want to find out what people have to say about net worth to check Mr. Henderson, go ahead and Google it. If you believe that AI is your source for right now, it'll probably enlighten you. So just Google it. How do I determine my net worth? And
That's right.
Then compare it to what Mr. Henderson has shared with you today.
That's right. What is your net worth? What is your net worth? They said everybody who got a net worth of zero gonna die. Are you gonna be there? Ooh, that's kind of scary. If this administration said everybody who got a zero net worth leaving America, you're gonna die. Woo. You think a lot of people be running, James?
Oh, Rob, I won't be one of them.
I won't be one of me. I got work something.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Happy Palm Sunday. Oh, okay. Hey,
Happy
thanks
Palm
for that.
Sunday.
Miss Lily Mae Roe Vickers says Happy Palm Sunday to everyone.
We got to go. Much love to y'all. Be safe and happy Palm Sunday. Peace, love, and we'll see you the same time next weekend. Got to go. Love you. All right.